Hey guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios. This is another tutorial Tuesdays, episode number 19. Today I want to be talking about how to recreate a drum part. This track is turning into a collaboration. If you are not aware of that, in the past few weeks I waited for some submissions, and a producer named Nuance actually submitted something, and it actually sounded pretty cool. So I'm now using a lot of his stuff in this track, and I'm turning it into a collab. However, there were some things that I didn't really like about the way he put those in there. I did like the idea, but I felt it was slightly too mechanical sounding, too robotic sounding. I really wanted to make it sound a bit more realistic, because there are quite some realistic instruments in the intro. So I'm gonna play you this, and I'm gonna play you it with everything that he submitted. And then I'm gonna play with the part that I basically added to it. So I'm gonna open up all these tracks for you, so you can see it all. Those are all the tracks, and let's just play this. There we go. And by the way, there's no reverb on here, so if it all sounds a little bit dry, that's why.
This is the beginning.
Okay, so that's about where I'm gonna play this. You can hear the stuff that he added. It's mostly those drum fills that you can hear right here. And let's see if we can find a better one without the ride. So that was the drum fill that he supplied to this, and I quite liked it, but I felt it sounded a bit too a bit too robotic, I guess. I don't know. He sampled it from another track, I guess, and you can hear that slight guitar hit in there as well. I don't want that. I wanted this to sound quite realistic, so I took Superior Drummer, and I'm a big fan of Superior Drummer. I really like the sound of it, and I came up with this. So that sounds pretty cool, right? That's a bit more realistic than So I think it sounds quite good. Now you do need to realize that in the real track, we are still gonna get that ride that you hear right on this point, that ride. So what I've done actually is I'm doing this in a separate project because the original project which I'm working on is already really big, and there's quite a lot of RAM being used. And if I would load Superior Drummer in that project, Superior Drummer also loads an additional 1 gigabyte of samples to the RAM memory, so it might become a slight overload for Ableton. I think Ableton will crash when I do that in the original project. So I'm just doing it in a separate project, and I'll bounce this out to audio and then put it in the original project to replace these parts. So I think actually this already sounds pretty good. I could try to get this out of here, just get that out of there. Let's just paste these rights here so it will sound something like this. Sounds quite good, right? So I like that. Now for the toms, I did do something to them. You can see I'm using some slight EQing just to really sort of like scoop out some mids and give it some additional high frequencies. Helps to make them punch through the mix. I could try to take that higher frequencies out. I guess I like it with those additional high frequencies. I'm also adding a slight amount of reverb, the Valhalla Room, Tiled Room, just a really small mix, and that's basically all I did. Really gives it some additional ambience. Now, by default, when we go into Superior Drummer, you would most likely be using the Music City USA or the NY Avatar. I'm not completely sure, but basically the one I'm using is the Rock Warehouse SDX, and that's an additional pack, an additional expansion pack for Superior Drummer, and I really like the drum sounds in that particular pack. So the toms, if I play them, you can see which ones I'm using. I'm using that one, using that one, and using that one. Now, by default, they're set to this one, the Ayadi Custom. It sounds good, but I felt it sounded a bit more aggressive when we took the bottom ones, the net titanium ones. Just gives it a slightly different sound. Now, I did some more to this because by default, the toms have a really long release, and I can show you what happens. If you right-click on one of the drums, it will open up that particular drum. And you can see I've enabled the envelope, so I'm going to turn that off on all 3 of these toms. And now you can hear those long releases. So when I play this, that's what happens. Now that does sound really realistic, but we're still making electronic music, and I felt those releases really it didn't really made it sound too good. Listen. See those? I don't know, it just doesn't sound good. So I added a release, a really short release to each of those toms to get rid of that. So they basically stop as soon as I stop the note, which is good, because otherwise we would get something like those longer releases. It's not really what I want. It's a bit too much. So I've done that, and that's basically it for the tom fill. So I would export this to audio and put that into the other project. Now there's one more part, and that's this part. He created something that sounds like this. Now, first of all, that sounds really robotic. It doesn't sound realistic at all. And on the other part, he is continuing the build up, this drum fill, right until where the drop kicks in. I feel when you would do that, you take away a lot of the energy of the drop, because you don't give the track some room to breathe, to sort of like drop back down to silence, which will actually build up the tension and make the drop that comes after it sound even heavier than it already is. So I would at least do something like that, you know, take out those drums right there. But instead, I decided to recreate it. So I'm again using the same Superior drummer, and I'm gonna try to play this. So the original doesn't sound good at all. At least that's my opinion. And then my version. So that sounds slightly better. And in the mix,
this is the beginning.
so I quite like that. We can try out what happens if we use a different snare. So you can see we've got quite a lot to choose from. Let's see. And we can try maybe a different crash. Oh, I like that 18-inch crash. Sounds quite good. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export these to audio, but I'm gonna export the toms to audio, and then I'm gonna export the kick and the snare to separate audio, and the crashes to separate audio as well. So that means that I'm gonna have much more control over how it's gonna come out in the end. It's just gonna make a little bit more sense. So I'm also gonna take a clip right here, because I quite like that crash. I'm just gonna make some additional crash clips. These are just gonna be that right. It's pretty cool as well. That crash. Let's just do another one. That's another ride. Let's do... I'm gonna use that cowbell as well. Let's try and see. There's only one cowbell. Okay. Let's see what we have. Oh, I quite like that ride. Let's see, what do we have here? We also have this one. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like the sound of that one. Let's see if we've got some more. That's a crash. We can try this one. Like that one a bit more. And that's the shorter version. And that's the really big crash. Let's try this one. So like becomes more like a ride. Well, it is a really big ride. I like that one. I don't need the hi-hats. This is about enough. So I'm gonna export these to separate audio clips, and then I'm gonna go back into the original project and show you how I put them in the original project. So let's just I'm gonna export these, and I'll see you back in a minute. Okay, so we're back in the original project, and I've actually already added the tracks in here. Right here, I disabled the Marley Toms track, which is actually that original one, that thing. So I can completely delete that because I'm not going to use it anymore. And I also have this rock drums group, which is this thing. I'm also gonna remove that. And I already played around some more with my own rock drums, and I took those I took those cymbals that were at the start of the clip, and I placed them right here at the end where there's nothing else going on. So these are just there. Whenever I need something, I can pick it from that clip. And you can see right here at the start, I've actually used those cymbals to create a new pattern. So now we get pretty interesting stuff with that. I also have this, which is of course the clip that we made. Sounds pretty damn good. So I then added a little bit of compression, which is just the Audio Damage Rough Rider. I really like this compressor, by the way. It low passes your signal at about 16 kilohertz, so that's pretty good. I like the sound of that, and it really is a compressor that adds some distortion as well, because you can check how it sounds without. Really adds some nice distortion to it, and yeah, I quite like it. So this is without the rock drums group. It sounds good, but this is with that additional cymbal at the start. Just fills it up ever so slightly. Now I'm gonna go into the cymbal group. And let's see, there is some high end in here, but not much. Let's give it some more of that. We could try out what happens when we pan this a little bit to the right, for instance. And then I might have to go in here. Let's see, where are my other cymbals? Because I'm pretty sure that there is a cymbal there. It's probably in here. Yeah. I could pan this one to the left. Let's keep it centered for now. Sounds pretty good. So I'm just gonna play you this, I guess, with the drums that we made in this video, and yeah, next week we're gonna continue on. I think we're gonna do some more work on the bass next week. So yeah, there we go. Wait.
This is the beginning. This is the beginning. This is the beginning.
So actually, I think that sounds quite good. I do want to do some stuff with the drums. It might be cool to add some of those cymbals on the snare, especially right here. We have these those snare hits. It might be cool to layer some of the cymbals underneath there, sort of like we have here. But that might mean I would have to maybe use one of those. I think that's pretty good for now. I don't want to do too much more today. Next week we're going to be looking into further working on the bass. We definitely want to get the bass done so that we can go towards the second drop, which I think is going to be slightly different from the first one. But to know how we are going to make the second one, we got to first make the first one, right? So it's almost done. We're getting pretty close to finishing this track now. Yeah, other than that, I hope you like this video, and I hope to see you back in the next week's video. Peace.